And the first is these announcements. So on March 9th, we are going to have a baptism service. We have people in our church who are ready to take the step towards baptism. They've checked yes on their card, and we want to fill that service up. That's not something we can guilt. That's not something we can make happen. It takes the Spirit of God working in the hearts of people in this room to lead them to the point in which they decide they're ready to publicly declare their faith through baptism. So March 9th, it's going to happen in this room. Everybody that knows this keeps asking us how. We're figuring that out. So, but it's going to happen on March 9th, baptism. So if you're someone that the Lord's working in your heart, that you're ready to take that step, it's a check of a box, and then John and I will have a conversation with you before March 9th. And so that's going to be an awesome morning. Plan on being there. Plan on inviting people to that morning, because, I mean, what a great testimony of the gospel. And if God's working on your heart, check the box. Check it, and let me say this too, like checking the box isn't saying like you've got to be there as much as it's like you're ready to have a conversation about baptism. So for those of you in the room that you needed to hear that, check the box. Let's have some conversations. Try to do it before like March 7th, because that'll make that week a little bit harder. Okay, other thing we have coming up, and again, this is just signs that the Lord is working in our church. We have a parent commissioning coming up on March 30th. The registration date is for March 2nd because we got to order some things for that. And parent commissioning is where we have parents come forth who have either new children in our church, which means we have babies, yay. And we celebrate not only the birth of the child, but we commission the parent to raise up the child up in the faith. And then we as a church respond saying, you know, we are going to take part in that. Like, we are willing to partner with you in discipling your children. And so, guys, those are just two small things the Lord's doing. All right, a couple announcements before we get out of here this morning. And so the first is this, student ministry is on tonight. There's been some question marks about that, but the kids want to meet, so it's going to happen. How cool is that? I mean, as a former youth pastor, let me just tell you this. When Super Bowl rolls around, you typically don't meet. But here we got kids who are like, they want to be here. So how cool is that? That's awesome. Next announcement, so praying for others training. This is like our prayer team for Sunday morning. There's a 2-week training that we go through that just helps us to be equipped to pray for other people so that when we're praying for people, we can pray in confidence. That's February 23rd and March 2nd after service. I'd encourage you to sign up, even if you don't want to join the prayer team. It's just good content. It's just good stuff for us to grow in. All right, next announcement. There's 2 of these that are kind of aligned here. This is first the Caring for Others drive. So as we've done more work in the community, from time to time, various schools are reaching out to us and they're sharing needs with us. And we as a church want to rally around those needs to show the love of Jesus. And so up here, we are doing a drive every week for the next month. And all of these items are going to Southport Middle School, where both Adam Gaffs, the assistant principal, and Marika works in student services over there. And so these are things, guys, I was on a phone call on Wednesday with a social worker at the school, and she called the nurse's office to ask, and like I'm hearing them dialogue about how like they don't have these things, like they don't have them at all. You know, and so we as a church just want to express the love of Christ to them through meeting these various needs. And so here's a list. You can bring those into church every week. We'll have a container at the front. Again, this is us just showing the love of Christ to our community. Okay, next slide. Caring for Others survey. We as a church, as we became more and more out in the community and on mission, needs are popping up right and left. And guys, this is exactly what we're praying that God will allow us to step into when we did the Kingdom First initiative. That was this year, we would be more missional than we ever have. And so as needs pop up, and me, John, and Summer are trying to filter through these needs, something that would be very helpful to us would be to know the giftings of the people in our church. Not to assume that you'll meet those needs, but that we at least have a direction to know where to go, you know? And so if someone calls us and there's a construction project or something they need fixed, or if someone calls us and they need like financial training, or if someone calls us and they're like, we just need people to help move stuff, or, you know, whatever it is, again, we want to be a church that's out in the community, creating the opportunity to share the gospel with people. And we just think it would help us a lot if we had kind of a database of our church family that tells us, hey, so-and-so's a good person for us to call with that need. So you can scan the QR code. You'll find a survey. It's also in our app on the main page. This survey's there right now. And so just try to fill that out for us in the next couple weeks. Again, this is just something to help us. When you fill it out, I'm not assuming you'll do it. Like, just know that. Like, we're going to ask you and you can say, hey, no, I don't have time for that. But at least gives us a place to start. Like, as a church to go, okay, how can we rally around meeting needs in the community? Do I have one more slide, Solomon? We're supposed to have one more, and it's not there. We shared a couple weeks ago, us, Doxa, Redeemer, we're coming together. We're doing a Witness Saturday. Registration for that, I believe, is February 19th. And so we have 25 spots that we're supposed to fill for that. I would just encourage you, if you know you're going, sign up for us because it'll help us figure out, we have a meeting this Thursday, how many spots we need to keep and all that. So again, you can find that on our website under events, register for Witness Saturday. It's on March 2nd, but registration ends February 19th.